Hello guys, it's been a while. Yeah, I haven't really had anything to talk about lately. I haven't seen any movies, I haven't watched any, haven't discovered anything that's really caught my interest. Um, mm, of and really, it just never had anything to talk about. At university and all that. So yeah, that's essentially how things have been going. But recently, I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind. And after I read something online just recently, I felt the need to go back to pro wrestling. Yeah, I know. I've done videos about pro wrestling a bit too much now, but I promise you, I'm gonna try to not do that so much anymore. But this is something that's been bothering me for quite some time, and it needs to be addressed. WWE's booking. I hate the WWE's booking. That's essentially how things have been going right now. The booking is horrible. What do I mean by that? Well, let's try to talk about this. We've had a couple of storylines since WrestleMania. After I stopped talking about wrestling after Extreme Rules, I was pissed off at the whole thing that they brought Roman Reigns back into the title picture. Luckily, they quickly tossed him out of it after he lost that payback. By the way, that match, for some reason, they added Dean Ambrose to the match. Don't know why. Well, actually, I do know, because they wanted to tell a story between him and Seth Rollins. But that was kind of weird. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is WWE's booking. The booking as of late has been absolute shit. Let's start with Seth Rollins, as I just mentioned. Seth Rollins has been booked so badly. It is unbelievable how badly he's been booked. Okay, let me try to explain this. Ever since he won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, he's had a lot of matches on Raw and SmackDown over the past few months. Do you know what happens at those Raw matches? He loses. Every single time. No exception. I think the last time Seth Rollins actually won on Raw was back when he faced off against Adrian Neville. That's the last time he faced Adrian Neville. He beat Adrian Neville. And ever since that, he hasn't been able to win one match on Raw. And the pay-per-views hasn't looked that good either. It's like, in a Payback, Seth Rollins won the match because of interference. He had a match with Dean Ambrose at Elimination Chamber, and he lost by disqualification. Then he had a match with Dean Ambrose at Money in the Bank for the championship in a ladder match, in which I think he won, but I think there was also some interference. I don't remember exactly. Then he had a match with Brock Lesnar, which ended in a no contest because the Undertaker came back. I'll get to that. And then he had a match with John Cena. I'll get to him later. He won, winning the United States Championship in the process. Then we had a rematch at Night of Champions, in which Seth Rollins also had to defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Sting. Yeah, imagine that. Sting getting a WWE World Championship shot. That is incredible. But either way, Rollins lost to Cena clean. No bones about it. He just lost. And then he was able to beat Sting clean, and at the same time injure him. Yeah, it was just an accident. It doesn't really matter all that much, but yeah. That whole Sting versus Undertaker match at WrestleMania is not. There is very little hope that's actually going to happen now for you guys. Personally, I don't really care. Let's see. Where was I? And now he's involved in another storyline with Kane. He's returned. He has the mask on again, and he's facing off again. So I was just going to check something. And the bill in this is going to be a big Hell in a Cell match for the championship. And guess what? On Raw, they had a lumberjack match. Those two against each other, one-on-one. Guess who won? Kane. Kane just beat Seth Rollins on Raw. You know, this honestly makes the world champion look like a joke. And I know what you're going to say. He's a heel. You know, he's not supposed to be. Yeah, he's a cowardly heel. But here's the thing. Cowardly heels can still win matches. You've had Seth Rollins. Usually when you have a cowardly heel who always loses, it's mostly because he's an undeserving champion who won the title, and usually they lose it after a few title defenses. Maybe if they chicken them out of winning. Rollins has held that title since WrestleMania. Yet, how many clean victories has he had lately? In fact, how many victories has he had? I read somewhere that since becoming world champion, Seth Rollins has lost over 100 matches. Compared to his victories, which is like, I don't know, 10, 20 matches that he's actually won? How are you guys going to keep him as world champion if we just see him lose on every single occasion except maybe a pay-per-view? And even then, he could potentially lose there too, just not lose the championship. This is bad booking. Shit booking, in fact. I don't know who's to blame for this, but I have a suspicion that it comes from Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Because every bad decision so far can be traced back to Vince, because he either approves of a bad idea or changes an idea to make it his own, and it's usually a shit idea. Case in point, I read somewhere that he wasn't very happy about a recent engagement between Lana and Rusev, you know, in real life, because it was ruining the storyline that he had between Dolph Ziggler, Rusev, Summer Rae, and Lana. The storyline, is one of the worst storylines that's ever been produced. People are saying that this is worse than fucking Twilight. Which I'm not sure if you know this, But Twilight is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And they're comparing it to this. Holy hellballs. How bad is WWE going to go before it ruins everything? I've heard some people also say that it's only a matter of time before Rusev gets a dancing gimmick. At this point, I fucking believe you. Because at this point, I fucking believe you. I don't want that to happen because it just sets it shows everyone that, yeah, you can come up to the main roster from NXT and you're gonna get crushed. I could also mention Kevin Owens. But him, I'm saving a little bit because there's another problem I have. But I'm getting a bit off track here. But yeah, Seth Rollins. It is awful, awful booking. And that's a shame because here's the thing that some people may not realize. Seth Rollins, he's a great wrestler. In fact, his matches with John Cena have been great. His match with Sting was good. He probably couldn't have had a better match if he didn't have to wrestle those matches back to back. Wrestle the Cena match and the Sting match back to back. Seth Rollins is a great wrestler. He knows how to work the... He was and still is the best wrestling talent from the Shield. But what are we getting? But it doesn't really help when he keeps losing. And I know some people don't realize this, but both Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho have said this. Wins and losses are important. It helps us believe in these characters and know what the hell they're doing. So when WWE keeps booking Seth Rollins to lose on every single occasion, we're going to look at him like he's a pathetic fool. And we're not going to take him seriously as a champion. And really, we just don't... So any plans that they might have for Seth, it's just not going to be good in the end. You know, when they did the whole Sting storyline, I thought for a second that they were building towards a Triple H versus Seth Rollins match. But other than the fact that he beat Sting, him losing all the time just really doesn't seem to be able to they don't put him over as a strong guy to beat Triple H. And that's kind of what. And here's the thing: I would have been happy with that because Triple H is a great wrestler and Seth Rollins is a great wrestler. That could have been a great match. And having him face Kane afterward was actually a pretty good idea. You know, the Authority first they give him a title match back to back, and then they give him a. Then they feed him to the Director of Operations, which eventually leads them to having a one-on-one contest with Triple H at some point. I don't know. But as how it's going on right now, I don't think we're going to get that. Because, well, he's been losing on every single occasion. And really, that's kind of the problem. We don't believe that Seth Rollins can beat someone like Triple H. And really, do we really believe that he can beat Kane in terms of storyline? Not really. It's bad booking. That's one of many bad booking decisions that they made. I already mentioned the whole Rusev and Lana storyline. Then let's talk about the upcoming pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. I've already talked about a few or at least one match that's going to be there. But let's talk about what's going to main event the pay-per-view. It's going to be a Hell in a Cell match between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. For those of you who don't know, at Battleground, Brock Lesnar faced off against Seth Rollins for the championship. Brock Lesnar had the match won. He lifted him up for an F5, beat him down with the F5, went for the pin, lights go out, Seth disappears, the ref disappears, Undertaker comes into the ring, he low blows Brock Lesnar, chokeslams him, tombstone, and he leaves. The next night on Raw, he explains that the reason he did it was because, not because the streak was broken, that would have been stupid if that was the whole thing, because he's waited a whole year to take his revenge. And that probably couldn't have been so bad though, recovering from his big loss, except he was on WrestleMania 31 where Brock Lesnar main evented. That was... Why didn't he do anything there? Why couldn't he just, attack Brock in the main event or something like that? But, really, that isn't the... But, yeah, this made Undertaker look like a petty heel. And with the low balls and all that, most people thought he may have become a heel for this match. But the thing is, that's already a bad booking decision, because while you can try to make Undertaker a heel, it's not going to work. Because we as fans have too much respect for Undertaker to really look at him as a heel. And Brock's turned babyface by this point, so we're not going to boo him. So essentially we have a babyface versus babyface match. We have a babyface versus a heel who everyone looks at as a babyface. Then we have the match at SummerSlam. It was a good match, but what everyone's talking about is the finish. What happened was that Undertaker had Brock fought Brock to a certain point where Brock locked him in the Kimura lock. Taker was locked in it. Brock held him for a while, and then all of a sudden the bell rings, but the ref hasn't called for it. Brock looks like he is victorious, but the ref is arguing with the timekeeper. Undertaker takes the opportunity, low blows Lesnar, locks him in the Hell's Gate. Brock flips him off, and then passes out. The ref calls for the bell, and Undertaker wins. But as it turns out, Undertaker tapped out to the Kimura lock. And because he tapped out, the timekeeper decided to go into business for his own. He didn't look at the referee. He just rang the bell. It's almost like the timekeeper wanted Brock Lesnar to win. And when they saw that the match, technically speaking, had ended, just excuse this. I have some chocolates here, and I'm kind of hungry. Either way, what essentially happened was that Undertaker won in heelish fashion. And this set people... I know they did this to set up another match later on. And I'm guessing that they didn't want Undertaker to beat Brock Lesnar clean. a lot of people thought he should have, though, because if they were going for another match, they could have had Brock Lesnar lose to The Undertaker, and then it would be an even score leading into a third match, which many people thought would be WrestleMania 32. A match I would not have looked forward to, by the way. But now they're doing it at Hell in a Cell, which is better. Question is, what are they going to do with Raw? What are they going... But ever since then, they have done nothing to really promote it. Sure, they've had Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour, in which Brock has wrestled The Big Show at Madison Square Garden. The Big Show. A guy Brock Lesnar killed at the Royal Rumble 2014. Guess what? Brock beat him there. And you know what happened also? They killed Cesaro, Antonio Cesaro, again. They killed his push by having him fight the Big Show, have this interesting story in the match where he was constantly trying to suplex the Big Show. Finally being able to do it, then Big Show gets right back up. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Big Show just beats Cesaro. I know they wanted Big Show to look strong, but why did you have this story in the match where Cesaro was trying to suplex Big Show, which got people behind Cesaro? They wanted to see him suplex the Big Show and win the match. When instead, Cesaro accomplished nothing. He suplexed them. Okay, good. Bam. So yeah, they essentially just killed him there. See what I mean by bad booking? And yeah, that Big Show just failed to beat Brock Lesnar, and they're using this to make Brock look good. He didn't need that, because most people saw that if the timekeeper hadn't done it early, maybe the ref would have seen that Undertaker was tapping out. So you have a match here, a Hell in a Cell match, which they've actually had a Hell in a Cell match before, and actually it's going to be to the day the same time as the previous Hell in a Cell match, and that match also main evented. The only thing that's different is, one, it's been a very long time, and nowadays WWE is more. The only difference is, one, that the guys are much older now. Two, they can't do as much crazy stuff that they did back then. Three, Undertaker is no longer the American Badass. And four, it's not for the title. Other than that, same match. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship with Paul Heyman is going to be in Brock Lesnar's corner. It's not going to be as good as it was previously, obviously. I mean, that match had a lot of things going for it. It had an interesting story going for it, where Brock Lesnar had broken The Undertaker's hand with a propane tank. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Kind of phased out a little bit. But Brock essentially many people are predicting that Brock's going to win this match, and that makes the most sense. You know, Undertaker, he's over 50. He's not going to stick around for very long. Brock Lesnar has at least 2 years left on his contract. He's going to show up for some big matches. Undertaker, I don't know how long he has left. Maybe this will be his last match. I don't know. If this is his last match, it's not a bad one to go out on. I mean, you have one of the defining defining matches of Brock Lesnar's career against once again. So it's not a bad choice. What is a bad choice is what many people are predicting is going to happen afterwards. Some people are predicting that Brock Lesnar's going to go after the title again. That Undertaker's just a distraction from his goal to win back the championship. And that makes sense. You know, Brock Lesnar is dealing with the Undertaker right now because he faced Seth Rollins, because he interfered in his title match against Seth Rollins, and if he went after the championship even more, Undertaker would probably have kept going after him. I would personally have argued that they could have had a triple threat match at SummerSlam. You know, Seth Rollins, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar, but I guess that's just how it goes. But overall, I'm still not entirely sold on. But yeah, having him go after Seth again, that makes sense. You know, have him come back into the title picture, face him at Survivor Series. It's a big pay-per-view. Have those two face off one more time. That makes sense. However, many people are saying that he should win the championship. I would personally argue that that's a dumb idea, considering that Brock, you know, has limited dates, which means he's going to go back to that old title reign where he defends the title once and then disappears for, what, 4 months? 5? I don't know. He's gone all the way until the Royal Rumble. Maybe not even that. Maybe he's going to wait until all the way until WrestleMania. I don't know. And then they're predicting he's going to go into WrestleMania as the champion. And who's going to face him? Why, Roman Reigns, of course. You're going to do the match we had last year, right? And this time Roman Reigns is actually going to beat Brock Lesnar for a championship. And this time he really deserves it. No. 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 I've explained this a billion times. I'm going to have to explain it again. It doesn't matter that Roman Reigns has gotten some kind of experience this year. He still does not look like a guy who can beat Brock Lesnar. Hell, this year he lost to Bray Wyatt. A guy this same year Undertaker's beaten, and that Brock Lesnar's most likely going to beat as Hell in a Cell. I mean, he's going to beat the Undertaker, who beat Bray Wyatt this year, who in turn beat Roman Reigns. What makes me think that Roman Reigns has any chance of beating Brock Lesnar any more than last year? He doesn't. He has no right. And hell, him beating Undertaker again is just going to enforce that point. Him beating the Big Show. Him beating the Big Show clean this time. You know how Roman Reigns couldn't beat the Big Show clean in that last man standing match? Brock Lesnar just beat him clean in Madison Square Garden. What makes me think that Roman Reigns can beat Brock Lesnar now compared to last year? Nothing does. There's no fucking reason for Brock Lesnar to lose to Roman Reigns clean. There isn't. If Brock's going to face anyone at WrestleMania, it should be anybody else. And he has to win, by the way, because nobody on the roster has any chance of beating Brock Lesnar. And nobody should beat Brock Lesnar. It is awful, awful storytelling if they have Brock lose. The only reason that I was okay with Brock losing to someone like Seth Rollins was because of Money in the Bank. Now, of course, this isn't official, that's just a fan theory, but sorry, that was one. Either way, so there's no official term for it, but that really got me reeled up. It's like I don't get it. Why would you guys want that to happen? I've already explained it multiple times, and I know most people don't listen to me because I have 0 viewers. That's fine, but how come people doesn't have any logical sense of a storytelling? I'm sorry, this doesn't work. I can't get behind this. But we'll see how things play out. Maybe this won't happen. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Either way, let's get going to one of my main problems with the booking as of late. And his name's John Cena. I still don't get why that's a meme, but John Cena. What is it that I don't like about John Cena right now? Well, his booking. Obviously. That's what I've been talking about this entire time. The booking has been shit. And in John Cena's case, it's been absolute horrible. Let's start from where I left off with Extreme Rules, shall we? You know, I mentioned that they were going to do a fourth Rusev match. John Cena versus Alexander Rusev match. They did. They had an I Quit match in which John Cena won again, and that sent Rusev down this path of this horrible piece of shit storyline. For those of you who think Alexander Rusev isn't buried, you guys really haven't been following the product, have you? What happened next? Well, John Cena continued those US Open challenges throughout this entire time. The US Open challenges. I hate those matches. I hate them. Here's the thing. Yes, they're good matches. They can put on great matches. His fight with he had some great fights with someone like Adrian Neville. 2 great matches with Antonio Cesaro. Actually, a pretty decent match with Cesaro. A good match with Xavier Woods. Good matches all around. But the booking is horrible. Here's essentially how a match with John Cena, a US Open challenge with John Cena, goes down. A guy, he says, "Come get some." A young mid-carder comes out wanting to challenge John Cena for the title. He hits him with every fucking finisher he has, every signature that he has. Puts John Cena down, and he kicks out at 2. 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 Then John Cena picks him up, attitude adjustment, Lol, Cena wins. That's essentially a US Open Challenge match. The champ is here, come get some. Newtown comes out, finisher, and he kicks out of 2. 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 AA. Lol, Cena wins. That is essentially every single US Open Challenge with few exceptions. 3 comes to mind. 1. Adrian Neville. Adrian Neville had John Cena down. He was going to hit him with the red arrow to win the championship. Kevin Owens comes out and gets John disqualified. I think that's what happened. I think he attacked John Cena, causing a disqualification. Or was it Rusev that time? I can't remember. Then Antonio Cesaro faced John Cena for the US for title. He had him beat with a sharpshooter. Kevin Owens comes out, hits John Cena. Cesaro wins by disqualification, doesn't win the title. And Alexander Rusev, who by the way, here's another thing. In that match, there was a 3-man who wanted a shot at the US title. Kevin Owens, Antonio Cesaro, and Alexander Rusev. They had a triple threat match. Rusev won. He got a shot at John Cena, and John Cena meanwhile was talking on commentary about how he's going to have a huge advantage in the match because he's fresh, sounding like a heel. And then Rusev pretty much was almost beaten and had to do the match, but he valiantly called for the bell. John Cena dominated him throughout most of the match, but Rusev valiantly countered him in, locked him in the accolade. I think that's what they call him. The accolade. John Cena was about to tap. Oh, Kevin Owens came up, hits him. Disqualification, no title won. John Cena was pretty much booked as a heel. He's good at it though, but yeah, we're never gonna see that full heel turn transformation. But either way, that's John. That's the only time. Otherwise, it's just finisher, kicks out of 2, kicks out of 2, kicks out of 2. Lol, Cena wins. And in the meantime, he's also had some storylines. A John Cena storyline. Can I ask a question? When was the last time John Cena lost a feud? Not a match. A feud. I'll be hard pressed if any of you guys figure that out. Because if you do figure out, tell me. Please, tell me. Because currently, there's absolutely nothing that really has anything going for it. But we shall. But yeah, that's how things are going right now. So, what? So in the meantime, but let's talk about one of those feud. Oh, specifically the feud that came after after he buried Rusev. He had one of his US Open challenges, and the guy who came out to answer it was current NXT champion Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out, acted like gave us a great heel performance, some great speed, launched out Cena, and then beat the shit out of him, stomped on the US title, and said no to his US Open challenge. He went to the back, talked to Triple H, and it was set up for a match between John Cena and Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. The title was not going to be on the line, but it was going to be John Cena versus Kevin Owens, one-on-one at Elimination Chamber, champion versus champion. And in said match, Kevin Owens won clean. Holy shit! When was the last time you saw that? John Cena losing clean to a new talent. That is unbelievable. That hyped up everybody to think, oh, holy shit, maybe they finally come around. Maybe they finally listen to us. Maybe it's finally time for change, to see John Cena finally putting over talent. Then comes Money in the Bank, they have a rematch, and John Cena wins. You know, it's 50-50 booking. They always have to do that. John Cena always gets his win back. But maybe they're just building towards, you know, a second match. You know, a third match. One more match between John Cena and Kevin Owens. Or John Cena's gonna lose the United States Championship. In the meantime, Kevin Owens lost the NXT Championship to Finn Balor. And then everyone thought, okay, he's losing the NXT Championship. He's coming full time to Raw. He's going to be full time on the main roster. He's going to win the NXT champion. He's going to win the United States Championship. And reign dominant on there. He faces John Cena at Battleground, and everyone had one of two minds. One, he was going to win the United States Championship, or two, there was going to be some kind of fuck finish, and they were going to have a match at SummerSlam. You know, the biggest show of the summer, second biggest show of the year. What happened? They had a great match. Cena picked up Kevin Owens on the top rope, hit him with the attitude adjustment. 1, 2, and he kicked out. Many people were getting excited. Maybe, just maybe, this is the time that Kevin Owens will win. Then he locked him in the STF, and Kevin Owens tapped out. He tapped out. After such a heroic kick out, he tapped out. He lost. Plain, clean, simple, he lost. His chance at the US title was gone, because that match was for the US title, and he lost. No, Cena wins. Momentum completely destroyed. Kevin Owens didn't get another shot at SummerSlam. Feud ended. John Cena wins. Why? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Why did they do this feud in the first place if they were going to have Kevin Owens just lose? He was a brand new talent coming up from NXT. He came up as the NXT champion, and he lost his first feud. He had such promise coming up, and he lost. He lost the feud. He lost his opportunity. Everything just flushed down the toilet. Didn't matter. It didn't matter that Kevin Owens has some of the greatest momentum in the world. All flushed down the toilet. Just gone. If they were seriously not going to have John Cena lose the title to him, then why the hell did you have him feud with John Cena first? Why didn't they just do John Cena versus Kevin Owens? Do Kevin Owens versus anybody else for his first feud? Hell, he had a great match with Antonio Cesaro on SummerSlam. It meant nothing, but it was a match. Why didn't you just do that for his first feud? Kevin Owens versus Antonio Cesaro. That could have been a great feud to just start things off. Get Kevin Owens back on track. You know, show off his great work. Have him win the freaking feud, which he actually did at SummerSlam because he didn't have a match afterwards. No. That hurt Kevin Owens. It hurt him badly. I know you're gonna say, well, he's Intercontinental Champion now. That can't hurt too much. Maybe. But Kevin Owens just lost most of his momentum coming up. And really, are people really going to just take him seriously because he beat Ryback for the Intercontinental Championship? WWE's done such a big, a lot of work just to try to make the US Championship seem important and valuable. But the thing is that they have forgotten that in order to make a championship look valuable, you can't just have the champion be so great. You also have to make sure that it's going to have some impact when he finally loses the damn belt. And Kevin Owens had the biggest impact. He was ready for that. But nope, he didn't win it. And now he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship, which has been just, which at WrestleMania was tossed around like a hot potato. Was won by a champion who who got injured again and had to vacate the title. Was won in one of the worst Elimination Chamber matches ever. It actually rivals the ECW December to Dismember Elimination Chamber match in terms of how bad it was. It sucked. It sucked badly. Ryback came out victorious. He had boring, bad matches with Big Show and The Miz. And then, now finally he's lost it to Kevin Owens. Who cares? Does that really help him in any way? Not really helping the fact that he's champion. Okay. But he doesn't gain anything from it otherwise. That was bad. That was very bad. It is very bad. It's horrible. But what about John Cena? What happened to John Cena after that? I'll tell you. He went on to face Seth Rollins for the big championship. He had the match won until Jon Stewart interfered. Then he won the championship back from Seth Rollins. And now he's just been doing US Open challenges and keeps crushing talent day after day. Hell, just recently he had a big match with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler hits him with multiple with over 15 different finishers, I think. Kicks out of two, kicks out of two, kicks out of two. Attitude adjustment. Lol, Cena wins. Back to status quo. This is horrible booking. Absolutely horrible booking. You don't make anything look. You don't make anyone look good, except for John Cena. And really, good matches doesn't really make up for it when you consistently make bad booking decisions. I can't stand for that. This is horrible. And then I can't mention bad booking in WWE without mentioning the big one. The horribleness, the absolute bullshitness that is the Divas Revolution. Holy shit. The Divas Revolution. Essentially what they did, they brought up 3 NXT women. They brought up Charlotte, who should have been on the main roster, who deserved to be on the main roster indeed. Becky Lynch, which confused me because I thought she would have won the Women's Championship before she went up there. And Sasha Banks, who was the current NXT Women's Champion. Okay, that's fine. Fine, bring them up. That could be an interesting revolution. Thing. But they immediately split up into teams. You had Charlotte and Becky team up with Paige to form Team PCB. You had the Bella Twins team up with... was it Alicia Fox? I don't remember. I think so. Maybe. I don't know. They team up with someone else and formed Team Bella. And then you had Team BAD, or BAD, which was Sasha Banks, Naomi, and I think Tamina. Yeah, I think that was the thing. So you're essentially pushing 9 women at the same time. And holy crap, that was terrible. And you know what happened after that? Nikki just didn't defend her championship for 2 pay-per-views straight. Logically, she would have been stripped of the title by then, but nope. They of course didn't want to strip her of the title because they wanted her to break AJ's record. They broke it, and then Charlotte won the championship in a very poorly executed match, which had Nikki just work her legs the entire match. And I say legs because it looked like she was working one leg, then worked the wrong leg. They had bad selling, and then in the end, that whole leg work didn't matter because Charlotte won with the figure 8, which requires her legs. Bad booking happens again, and Charlotte wins the championship. Normally, I would have been happy with that because I love Charlotte, but good grief, the fucking booking. And now PCB just turned up because bitches be crazy. WWE has always been bad at booking women, but it just seems like every single person, every single woman on the roster is a heel or a bitch or a diva. That's essentially what they're calling it, because that's kind of how they book their characters. They're divas. It's horrible. It is incredibly bad. And I don't get WWE's mentality. Why can't they do some great work with women? Scratch that. They do good jobs with women down in NXT. Down in NXT, you know what happens down there? We're getting a proper storyline between Sasha and Bayley, to the point where that rivalry has a great match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, where Bayley finally wins the NXT Women's Championship, and then they have a rematch at TakeOver Respect, which for the first time in WWE history features 2 women in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the NXT Women's Championship. A women's Iron Man match. That is a shocking revelation, but it shouldn't be. This shouldn't be shocking that they're actually giving the women actual time to wrestle. And guess what? That Iron Man, I don't care. That match main evented the event. It main evented. The women actually main evented a pay-per-view. Or event, I don't care what you call it. I'm at a loss of word. How can the same fucking company do that and that horrible Divas Revolution at the same time? It is awful. It is horrible how bad the booking is. I don't know who's to blame for this. I'm still standing by that it probably is Vince. Or maybe it's this guy Kevin Dunn that I've heard about. Kevin Dunn, who's the head writer of the WWE creative team. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's Vince. I don't know who it is. But this needs to stop. This horrible booking needs to stop. You need to stop with these having John Cena win at every single fucking point. They need to stop have Seth Rollins lose at every single fucking point. They need to stop the. They need to book talent in a good storyline. They need to properly give the women time and effort to wrestle, and they need to push and they need to make storylines with 2 women, not 9 at the same time. They can do great things, guy. This could be. Why is it that WWE is doing so badly? I don't get it. And it looks like WWE is finally paying for this horrible booking, because recently the ratings for Raw have been plummeting to the point where it's almost as bad as when it was at its lowest back in the late 90s. That is terrible. And WWE seriously needs to change things. Now, it looks like they're going to change things with John Cena at the very least, because I've heard that he's going to take some time off after Hell in a Cell. But other than that, you need to push new talent into the business, because really, the way that you're booking things right now, and you need to stop booking so terribly, because really, you're just annoying fans. You're causing people to think bad, causing people to tune out as shown by the ratings. And really, this company needs to change. It needs to change their views. It needs to change what they're doing. This has to stop. This horrible booking has to stop. And Vince, I know you're probably not going to stop until you retire. Until you die. But I implore you, if you're not gonna step down, at least stop making these horrible fucking booking decisions. I'm curious to see what's gonna come from Hell in a Cell. I don't know if I will make more videos about this, but this has to end. These booking decisions are horrible. And that's my main problem with WWE these days. Hopefully next time I'll have something else to talk about than wrestling. See you later.